Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it, baby. Let's fall in love. Go away. Yeah, we're falling in love right now. Ooh. Dooby doo. Dooby doo, I want to walk like you. Ooh, ooh. You beautiful thing. You. What's up? Welcome to the show. If you're live, bienvenidos to the live ones. If you're not live and you want to jump ahead to the action, there'll be a link in the description. You can do that. We in the future is beautiful. Send it. We sending, baby. We sending, baby, like it's Graham in 2004. That's what we doing. Yeah. Let me know if you can feel things correctly. I mean, hear things correctly. How is the volume level? How is the level of volume? Let me know if that works. Yeah, what's up? We in the house, how you doing, baby? Bienvenidos, it's Meaningwave. I just got back from the United Kingdom. I'm back in Mexico. I've been in the United Kingdom with my beautiful family. Charlotte and Hercules and I flew on the biggest flipping plane I've been near in so long. I got used to these little planes that bomb around Latin America. You know what I mean? These little World War II type joints. You know what I mean? That bomb around. You get used to that. I was on this British Airways thing. It's like a it's like ridiculously large. You're just like, this thing will not fly. Then I'm on the plane, I'm like, when we taking off? And my wife is like, we're in the sky. I was like, what? The big ones, you didn't even feel them going. Bit crazy. Anyway, I'm back. Wife and son are not back. Wife and son are in the UK, continuing to journey around and visit family. You know, they're on a family visiting tour. I gotta come back and get it cracking. Keep that Meaningwave ship sailing. You know what I mean? That's the thing. If you work for yourself, you work for yourself. You know what I mean? You can't be like disappearing for months on end. Otherwise, everything stops, and everything cannot stop. We've got to keep it moving. But it was cool, you know. It was cool. I got to see my mom, you know, for the first time in, I know, like, what is it, 5-6 years? I don't know. First time in a long time. First time since she came and visited us in LA, you know, and we ain't lived in LA for a while. I got to see my mum's house. I hadn't seen my mum's house. She lives like in like deepest like southwest Wales. She got like a half acre or something. She got like a house. She got another house that was built in the 17th century. This like, they don't live in that one. That one they like keep wood and stuff in. It was built in the 17th century. You forget how old stuff is. Like there's nothing in, for example, in Los Angeles, there is nothing that old in Los Angeles. The oldest thing in Los Angeles was built like, I don't know, like 90 years ago or something, right? So that's cool. I saw my little brother's house. He lives right next to my mum with my two nieces who are delightful. You know, and they got to hang out with Hercules, their cousin. They ain't seen each other. It was what was weird is it turned out that if you saw any of my posts or anything, they didn't see each other for 9 years, and it was 9 years to the day. There was like a 3-day period. They hung out with each other 9 years ago, and then they just hung out with each other again. Exactly 9 years later. That wasn't planned. We didn't realize until I was like looking for an old photo to compare what they look like now, you know? And that was real sweet. They got on so well. They were just like immediately were just playing and didn't want to be separated. It was really sweet. My little brother has got like a couple acres of like a house and multiple woodsheds and swampland and shit like that. He's declared an independent nation called Lanscaria or something like that. It's got its own flag. However, it is not immune from local law. He's got like an old mill on his property that he wants to turn into some house, and apparently the council won't let him or some shit. Why do you listen to them? I thought you declared independence. You should consider that an act of aggression on your sovereignty. I was in that part of the world for like 4 days, and 90% of what people talk about is local authorities getting in the way of them doing shit. People trying to like build a little wall or something, convert a barn or some shit like that. Local authorities are not having any of it. Anyway, it was nice. It was freezing cold. The only time I put on clothes around here is when I talk to you, you know what I mean? Otherwise I'm walking around in shorts. I'll put on a t-shirt I put on like a vest to go to CrossFit, then I take it off halfway through. I'll put something on my top half to go to physio. You know, I'll be going to physio. This is much better, thank you for asking. Physio actually works, how about that? I got it down, it's physiotherapy. For some reason it went in my calendar as physiognomy. Jason Eva sent me a message saying, Akira, you have your physiognomy appointment tomorrow. My physiognomy is fine. I'll be looking good out here, don't you? How dare you? Gang, how are you all doing? We're going to listen to vinyl today, how about that? It's going to be delightful, vinyl listening. Well, so I was away for 8 days. 4 days of that basically was straight traveling. Just straight traveling. Like hour to Cancun and like 10 hours on the plane. Then like 7 hours from the plane to the bit of Wales that my mum was in. Then I had to go north, you know, to my old man's nuptials. Is it nuptials or nuptials? Answers in the chat. And that was another 7 hours on the train. But it's cool, I quite like trains. I haven't been on a train since I was like last in the UK, neither. Like, I haven't been on... You forget how much of living in the UK involves riding around on trains eating crisps. It's like a lot of that, a lot of riding around on trains eating crisps. We're riding through Wales or somewhere. And a little Hercules, he's looking out the window, like fascinated. He's like, Dada, why is everyone so depressed? Yeah, look out the window. He was looking at that point. The object of his concern was like a young fellow, a young man. You know, with a big. Everyone's wearing this like deflated bubble wrap coats in the UK these days. We used to have like bubble coats, but they was like big puffer ones. These ones look like they've been deflated, like the life has been sucked out of them. Everyone's wearing those, and this young lad, he sat there like, and he's got a bag of McCoys. I'd forgotten about them crisps, and he's just dipping into that anxiously, sort of looking around from under his fringe, shivering. He said it's because he lives on crisps. Many British people live on a diet of crisps and Ribena. God bless. I did a bunch of fasting. I was at the airport and I was hungry, you know, but there was no food that was not cancerous and evil. It was crazy. So I just fasted, you know. That's a good thing you can do. If you're at a place like an airport or a train station and the food is uniformly cancerous, that's a great opportunity to bang a water and fast. And then you'll be fine. If you eat the food there, you will regret it. You'll be stuck on a plane and you'll be needing to go to the bathroom. Your fingers will smell of something disgusting. There'll be like weird gunk under your fingernails. You know, you'll be awash with sorrow and regret and horror. You know, your skin will be crawling. You don't need that aggravation. Fast. Bang of water. That's all you gotta do. Hello, M. Zinsei says, Akira, I love your work. I have the whole Wattswave collection and it's great to listen to while driving. I have the vinyls too, but they don't work good in the car. Appreciate you, bro. You know, it could work in the car. Like, you just need to get a sound system, hook up your record player, and just park up somewhere. You know what I mean? It's not going to work while you're driving, but you could park up somewhere and play your vinyl to the locals. Seagulls, wherever you may be. you know? You know! How's everyone doing out there? What's going on? Who's in the building? Who's in the house? Make some noise. Smash that like, all that. Hello, Domino Development. Hello, Bleat Llama. Hello, Cedritage. Hello, Free Consciousness. DJ Mikey Mike. Extra Chewy, says Akira. How's it going? It's going good, baby. It's going good. It was confusing being in the UK. People speak English. I'm not used to that. I go to a coffee. I go, buen dia. Quiero una cappuccino con leche. Avena, por favor. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, oh yeah, I forgot where I am. Someone bumps into you, you go, lo siento. And they go, what? And they go, oh yeah, my bad. It's very difficult to deprogram yourself from you know, conversational Espanol. Spanish is very base language. Shouts out to everyone. I saw a record that said Spanish is inherently istophobic because it has got gendered language in it, and because the Spanish people refuse to refer to each other as Latinx, which sounds stupid. No one wants to say that. It's difficult to say. No one wants to say Latinx. It's just too much. It hurts the jaw. It's disgraceful. I found out something. I memorized another Spanish word. I got post-it notes all around the casa on things, and they've got the word of what they are, you know? And when I got it memorized, I take down the post-it note. So I took down a post-it note from the bathroom today, the Tina one. The word for bath is Tina. So Latina means the bath, which is weird. So if you're a Latina, you're a bath. Or bath if you're posh. Tina's come down. Excusado? That one's still up because I'm not quite sure. Toilet. It's excusando or excusado, one of them. And it's funny because it's like the place of excusing or some shit like that, right? Excuse me. I'm being excused in this activity. What up, Members Time, you bad man? What up, Shecky, you bad man? Just back from Joshua Tree, we listened to Akira Top 50 podcast while chilling out there. Hey, new Top 50 dropping this week. I don't know if I'm going to do a stream of it, but the playlist will definitely update. It's up to you guys, really. Would you like a Top 50 every week, or would you like it in, you know, not every week, every month? Would you like it less often? There's a wire sticking out the side of my head. Why don't you tell me? Why don't you tell me when there's wires sticking out the side of my head in an unseemly fashion, making a mess of my delightful moulet, my glorious moulet? How could you? Anyway, how are you doing? What's been going on in the world? What's been happening? I didn't go on Twitter for a while, and people in my family were like telling me off about Scott Adams. So, well, he's lovely. What could he possibly ever do to upset anybody? Apparently, Scott Adams upset loads of people while I was gone. What else happened? Dirk from Texas says, I thought bathtub was bañera. It might be. Maybe it has another word for it. There's bañera. My professor told me it was Tina. And that's the sticky note I put on there. So, I don't know. There's some things I've got multiple words. Also, the guy who teaches me Spanish is from Venezuela. I don't know. What up, Chad? You bad man. Been jamming to the Over 9,000 mixtape all week as a banger. Hey, thank you very much. Motivation over 9,000. Don't need motivation. We got meaning. Disbelief equals freedom. Doug from Texas says, wait, Tina is tub. There you go. Fool Killer says, I'm following Adams the saga quite closely. It's pretty funny. He's a very funny man. He's very funny man. Very influential man. Out there causing ripples. You know what I mean? I go to the deepest, darkest depths of Wales and people are talking about Scott Adams. Chad says, Akira, you're going to do the top 50 again. Well, like I said, it's the top in a month. There's the playlist and that will refresh. That will be like this week. The question, I guess, is like, should I do a live stream of it also? That's kind of up to you guys. Do you want a live stream of the top 50? Y'all let me know. If my voice sounds a bit like double sexy, it's because where they sat me on the airplane on the way back, it was just blasting me with AC. It was freezing on that fucking plane, and it was blasting me, and like a couple hours in, my sinuses just packed up, and then my nose was streaming like us right now. You know what I mean? It was streaming. It was streaming so hard. You know what I mean? Like one of them bathtub girls, one of them Tinas on Twitch. It was streaming. You know what I mean? I had to get a box of nice tissues. When I got off, I'd wrecked my nose with airplane tissue. My nose was like practically bleeding. It was horrid. I got some nice soft tissues from Soriana. Lay my ass in the sun. Sun cures so much. I just lay in the sun for a few hours. I felt much better. My cat was pissed at me though. Hercules' cat. Hercules adopted a street cat, right? You all know that. Dakota, the street cat that he manifested. He wanted a ginger cat and one just started hanging out next to him, rubbing up his leg. So we let him come live with us. But you know, we was away for a week or so, and he didn't know we were going away because he does not speak English or Spanish. He speaks cat. Cat sounds like this. Meow, meow, meow. And they do that when they're hungry. They want to be let outside. That's it. So I tried to tell him we're going away, but he did not understand. And when I got back, he was pissed. He was pissed. Homie Raph had been feeding him too much. This cat is fat already. This cat got fatter. This cat got extra fatter. You know, I'll tell you how fat he is in a minute. I got back and I went over to his ghetto, and he went, tss, and he went, jumped off and ran off from me. He was so pissed. Anyway, I fed him a couple times and that, and he like rubbed himself at my leg. And then me and Hercules was watching Attack on Titan remotely. Hercules is in Wales. I'm here. We're watching the new Attack on Titan. I let the cat out. And then he didn't come back. All night. He ran away. He does this occasionally when he's pissed off with you to like assert dominance. He goes back to where he used to hang out when he was a street cat, over the road behind this gating, up on top of a bit of wall. I went out the next morning. I went looking. I'm going, gato, gato, meow, meow, gato. Pato, pato, gato, meow. And he went, meow. He's up on his bit of wall. I'm like, come down. He wouldn't come down. I went and got some food to tempt him, you know. And then Raph, I was with homie Raph. We double teamed it. I tempted him with the food, and then Raph grabs him, you know. And like, he's through this gate, right? It's a gate that like, you know, a small child could fit through. This fat cat, he couldn't get his fat ass through that gate. He had to squeeze me when he came out. Anyway, then he came home. And then we've been hanging out. I gave him some cuddles. I tickled him a bit, all that. Now he loves me again. He'd be rubbing up my leg and all that. He came and slept last night on the bed with me. Meow. Meow. So yeah, we homies again now. But like, I gotta defat him, you know. So we're not gonna be homies because I refuse to feed him as much as he wants to be fed. Because I gotta defat that cat. It's in his best interests to not be obese. I'll be looking out for him. He's gonna be pissed at me. Anyway, we're gonna play some vinyl, okay? How are you feeling about that? Should we do the international high five? We do the international high five, then we're gonna play some vinyl, some delicious, delicious vinyl. International high five, you just tell me where you are and describe in one word the state of the world today. Yeah. What up, Austin?
Akira.
Exactly. What up, Shecky? 100. What up, Dan Craig? Says, moi, love his hair. His style is impeccable. Who are you talking about? Says his style is the art of no style. Who could that be? I don't know who you speak. Some of this sounds an interesting person. We got Full Killer in the house, Maryland. State of the world is going. I would concur. What up, Dirk, Fort Worth, and F? State of the world is F. Stuff's funny. England and fun says high vibe. Blanks in Cali. Chad, Canada. Shouts out to Canada. Oh yeah, Canada. So much to answer for. That doesn't rhyme. M. Zinzi, Switzerland, Clown World. Switzerland? How's Switzerland? Is Switzerland Clown World? Shaki says, near perfect. Cali, perfect. That's right. Shit, baby, it's a Sunday. We chilling. Broadcasting live across space and time. If this isn't nice, I don't know what is. Members time, Virginia Beach, Virginia, in a state of calm in the world. That's nice, see? You know what I mean? You get what you give. Life works from the inside out. Miss Superconductor, Oregon, shifting. Shifting! Jeremy Brimmer's in the house, what's up? Shabba. Goodness. Austin Zumbrumman, H-Town. Shouts out to Candy Coated Carsville. Swangsville says spring has sprung. Good. Encrypted Evolution says Palladian Cyborg Hybrid here. 232 hertz, please. Bungie Animator says Colorado and sunny. If you love someone, you don't. Either you love someone or you don't. Either you love someone or you don't. Hey, YouTube's just sent me a message. Says now would be a good time to insert ads. Creators earn more money inserting ads. The more viewers are watching, give it a try. Hey, I got something you could give a try, YouTube. These nuts! I haven't dedicated that D's Nuts reference to little Hercules, my son, who is currently very enamored with the D's Nuts insertion situation potentialities. Yeah. Free Consciousness is in Las Vegas. Good for you. Shouts out to you. Shaky says, so yes, buy some Akira the Don t-shirts. Exactly, I agree. I agree. Open up a tab, go meaningwave.com and go get yourself some Meaningwave. Something. Some something. You know, when I say something, I mean, you know, something. Something good. Something good. Oh, yeah. International High 5 o'clock. Are you ready? Are you ready? 3, 2, you're going to high five the screen at the same time as everyone else. It's going to be epic. You get everybody's energy. You want to do that. 1, high five. High five! Yeah, how'd that feel? Did that feel good? Yeah, it did. It felt good to me, I gotta say. Yeah. If you're watching this, you're like, where did you just go? I went under the desk to blow my nose. You won't catch me blowing my nose on stream like a savage. Just like you won't catch me like eating chicken wings or any other nasty shit on stream. I got too much respect for you. I got too much respect for you, the audience. Right, to be doing that kind of thing. No, I will duck down. I'll hide under the desk and blow my nose like a respectable individual. Stronsk says, get that here. Exactly. Shaka Zulu says, smash that like. You should. You should. There's a whole gang of you here who've not yet smashed the like. Do it now. Do it for the ancestors. Do it for those who have no thumbs. Motherfuckers out there with no thumbs and you ain't smashing that like. What are you doing? Alrighty, we're gonna listen to an album. How about that? You excited? This right here is a beautiful album. This right here. We listened to part 1 of this series a couple weeks back. That was the Web of Life. This is the Web of Life 2. Web of Life 2 is a really, really, well, we were going to listen to it. It's wonderful, you know? This is the vinyl. It's a very nice vinyl. Look, it's got a lovely back and it's got a lovely front. It's, you can open it up if you so wish. Ooh, and all this stuff will fall out if you're not careful. If you've not slotted it. I didn't slot it. Look, it opens like this. Isn't that nice? Look, that is art. That right there, that's what that is. Art. Beautiful. Web of Life. Comes with this handy booklet. Handy. Look at the color of it. The color of that. That's like a. It's like that. It's like that Sour Patch. You know what I mean? It's like that Sour Patch candy lemon. It's that candy lemon, and it's got all the lyrics in it. And you know, you're gonna need that when you're sitting on your rocking chair, listening to your vinyl. You know, you're gonna want your handy lyric book, and then you can read along. You know what I mean? And know what's going on. Understand things. I saw a survey being bopped around the place the other day. Apparently, like Gen Zs insist on putting subtitles on all the time. Apparently, like 60% of polled. This is a poll. You get in trouble talking about polls. Apparently, I've heard that. Word around town is you can get yourself in serious shit talking about polls. Is it Pole or Pole? I mean, I'm part Pole. That shouts out to my granddad, Polish. But anyway, they asked some people, and the ones of whom were like Gen Z, 60% of them said that they put on subtitles in the language of the thing they're watching, right? So if they're watching an English TV show in English, they're putting in English subtitles. And people are like, why might that be? Why might that be? Some people are blaming bad sound mixing, and I do think sound mixing is bad. I saw some sound mixers responding, this is not the case, we're very good at our jobs, it's just that you haven't got good enough equipment. And I saw someone saying, should you not mix for shitty equipment? And they were like, no, we should not. It's like, yes, you should. People used to. This right here, I'm slapping my CRTV TV. The speaker in this isn't a fucking sound bar. This isn't a $400. It's like little speakers on the side. People used to mix for lowest common denominator, and that was the right thing to do. I do that. I mix for lowest common denominator. When I'm doing my mixing, I make sure shit sounds good coming out of a telephone, out of a laptop, out of whatever, right? If your shit sounds good coming out of the worst thing possible, then it's ready for distribution. You know what I mean? If you can't make your shit sound good coming out of a TV, you suck at your job, Mr. Sound Guy. Ugh. Anyway, there are various other theories. One is due to the nature of social media. Kids have got used to there being subtitles on everything. Another is that it draws you deeper into the experience, and then once you've got into that, you want more of it. I personally have no idea. Maybe you guys have an idea. I have no idea. Free Consciousness says, yes, always subtitles. Members Time says, my first pressing edition of this album looks so sexy on my wall and record player. Shaky Pebble says, it is beautiful. Yeah, it is beautiful. It is beautiful, brothers and sisters. It is truly beautiful. It's a work of glorious art, is what it is. We should listen to it. You know what I mean? Instead of me sitting around talking about closed captions. But yeah, them sound guys annoyed me. It's a classic case of refusing to take personal responsibility. You know what I mean? Like, blaming people for not having sound bars. There's no cosmic law that says you should have a sound bar. There is a cosmic law that says that you should do your job to the best of abilities, not even just yours. You should be doing your job to the best of your abilities, but you should be increasing your abilities. That's what you should be doing. How could you? Hood Canal Crew says, subtitles ruin stand-up comedy, though. Yes, I don't do subtitles personally. I like to use my ears, you know? But I do, and I understand, because it's not just stand-up comedy they ruin. They'll ruin, like, a pivotal moment in a thing. You're, like, you know, maybe someone's about to kill someone, you don't know. Maybe they're, like, sneakily about to do it. And you read the subtitles, and it'd be like, ow, says the guy. You're like, what? And then the guy, No. No bueno. D-Man says that's a nice angle. Dawn into the mix. This one, yeah, this is a nice angle, huh? It is a nice angle, and we're going to enjoy this angle now as we enjoy this record. Let me know how the sound is. You know, let me know how things are, and we're going to go in on side A. Like that. Did you like my little cough noise anyway? What was that? It's like a slight dryness in my throat, is what it was, that resulted in that weak little noise. Brothers and sisters, put your hands together. We're gonna listen to this dope looking vinyl. That's such a dope looking vinyl, says D-Man. D-Man is correct, as always. I ain't never heard D-Man tell no lie. I ain't never heard D-Man tell no lie. We're going in. Ooh wee. I'm gonna press play. Look, now it's spinning. Spinning! Spinning around, baby, like Dead or Alive in 1985. Ooh. Let's get it. Woo!
Akira.
Good dawn. In exploring the theme of the web of life, I have thus far discussed two principal topics. First, the web considered as selectivity, experience considered as what we pay attention to on the one hand and what we ignore on the other. And I showed how the way in which we pay attention to the world creates, isolates, that we call particular things, events, and persons, and they seem to be disconnected and to be alone because we ignore the connection between them. And I used the analogy of weaving, where the threads go underneath and join on the back in a way that is not seen on the front. So you might say in the unconscious, although I don't particularly like that word because it makes it seem as if it was something rather dead. But on the unconscious side of life, as on the back of the weaving or the back of the embroidery, there are connections which are not published. There are connections which are not published. There are connections which are not published. mutuality, when I discussed the way the existence of a web, the existence of cloth, or anything like that, depends on a mutual support of the warp and the woof. And this miraculous thing occurs that when the things support each other, being comes into being, cloth comes into being. And so in exactly the same way, our world is a manifestation of relativity. And this requires a balance, combination, a relationship of opposites in every domain of life. And although these opposites are explicitly different and even antagonistic, they are implicitly one. Implicitly one. They are implicitly one. And that's the secret. There are connections which are not published. A relationship of opposites in every domain of life. There are connections which are not published. There are connections which are not published. A relationship of opposites in every domain of life. There are connections which are not published. They are implicitly one. And that's the secret. See, there are these two secrets that we went into. The connection between what are supposed to be separate things and events, and the mutual unity between what are manifestly, that is to say, openly, for purposes of publication, opposites. Now, I'm going to take two other aspects of the web. There are connections which are not published. A relationship of opposites in every domain of life. There are connections which are not published. There are connections which are not published. A relationship of opposites in every domain of life. There are connections which are not published. They are implicitly one. And that's the secret. The web is a trap, like the spider's web is a trap for flies. Also, the lovely embroideries are worn by women as traps for men, from a certain point of view. From a certain point of view. And I want to consider the web as something playful. You see, there are so many ways of looking at it. And you will find that all these ways are right, but what we need is the fullness of the view. From a certain point of view. Of the view. From a certain point of view. What we need is the fullness of the view. From a certain point of view. From a certain point of view. What we need is the fullness of the view. From a certain point of view. From a certain point of view. What we need is the fullness of the view. From a certain point of view. From a certain point of view. What we need is the fullness of the view. From a certain point of view. From a certain point of view. There are people, for example, who can see the web as a trap and get stuck with that. There are people to whom existence is simply hateful. They see it as nothing but a ghastly mistake. The Lord really erred when he created this world, because he arranged it in such a way that everything lives by eating something else. And what I'm doing is I'm describing a certain point of view. From a certain point of view. I'm not exactly philosophizing, I'm describing a point of view. You can look at life in such a way that the whole thing is this ghastly mistake. For example, there is no such thing as genuine kindness or love. everybody is really pretending that they're loving other people in order to get some advantage from them. And indeed, there is a point of view which occurs in certain forms of paranoia where people don't seem to be real. They are mechanisms. And you can think that out quite intensely with a good deal of intelligence. After all, if you start from a good old Darwinian or Freudian basis and see that man is a material machine and that the consciousness of man is simply a very involved and complicated form of chemistry, well, then this awful mechanical things, these Frankenstein that everybody is, they come around and they say, well, I'm alive. I'm a human being. I have a heart. I love, I hate, I have problems. I feel. And you feel like saying, come off it. You're just a monster. And you put on the civilized act because really you're just a set of teeth on the end of a tube.
What we need is the fullness of the view from a certain point of view. From a certain point of view. What we need is the fullness of the view from a certain point of view. From a certain point of view. What we need is the fullness of the view from a certain point of view. From a certain point of view. What we need is the fullness of the view from a certain point of view. From a certain point of view.
You've got a ganglion behind those teeth, which you call your brain or your so alleged mind. And this thing is really basically there for two purposes. One, to be cunning enough to get something to eat, to put down the tube, and the other, you know what, Mr. Freud, libido. And everything else, you see, can be construed as an elaborate, subtle way of pretending that that's not really what you want to do. But you do. But you put on a great show. Now, some people, according to this view, get mixed up. They so repress that what they really want to do is to eat and to screw. They get involved in higher things that are the masks for these activities and think that that's the real purpose of life. And then they become what's called neurotic. Because they get involved in being pure camouflage. So that's what's called escaping from the facts. Not looking at life, not looking at reality correctly. Now, this is a very strange thing, you see, that it is partly true that the universe, so far as its biological aspect is concerned, is this weird system that lives by everybody eating everybody else. Only what we do to maintain what is called order and civilization is that various species make agreement that they won't eat each other. They'll cooperate, and so be an enormous gang which can beat down the others. So the human being is the most successful so far of this gangster arrangement. We are the most predatory monsters on Earth, and we have cooperated to assault the fish and the vegetables and the chickens and the cows and everything, you see? Only we do it by not letting our left hand know what our right hand doeth. In other words, ladies and gentlemen, unless gentlemen happen to be prone to going hunting, this is sport. They don't see their food killed. They don't see the slaughterhouse. And so what you get in the butcher, in the market, is steak, is a thing in its own right. It has nothing to do with a cow. Steak is a thing shaped up and so, and it looks as if it might be like a banana or something like that, and nobody worries. And when a fish is served up, it does indeed look like a fish, but it's not the squiggly, squirmy fish that comes out on the end of the fisherman's line. When you really fish, you realize that the fish doesn't like it very much. This gangster arrangement. We are the most predatory monsters on earth. So let me repeat. This gangster arrangement. This gangster arrangement. We are the most predatory monsters on earth. So let me repeat. This gangster arrangement. There is that absolutely extraordinary side of things that is really terrifying. And so let me repeat the illustration I used of the cross in the net, where one side of it is scissors that cut and eat, teeth that chew and get this thing in, and the opening side of it is like James Joyce's Ulysses, the girl who says yes, and I said yes. She wants to be absolutely ravaged by her man, see? So it's open. But now comes if we take the dark view of things, the horrible view. Excuse me if I go into some rather grisly details, but have you ever heard of a vagina dentata? That is the idea that in the sexual organ of the woman there are teeth. And a lot of men have this fantasy, and so are rendered impotent. They don't make love, because they feel that the price of this blessed experience, this creative experience, loving experience, is you're going to get cut. Perfect. You're going to get emasculated. You're going to lose your precious member of this gangster arrangement. We are the most predatory monsters on earth. So let me repeat of this gangster arrangement. Of this gangster arrangement. We are the most predatory monsters on earth. So let me repeat of this gangster arrangement. And, this is a very ancient fantasy. It appears throughout all known history. Because this is simply the woman's come on, where she attracts, but she's out really to get you. She is basically a spider mother, you see, who is selfish and doesn't really love you. Not really, but says she does. And of course, there are on the other side all the tricks of the men, which go without mention. So this is a view of the world as a system of mutual exploitation and of maximal selfishness. Now, it's a very profitable view to explore. Everybody should do in their lifetime sometime two things. One is to consider death, to observe skulls and skeletons. Consider death, and to wonder what it will be like to go to sleep and never wake up. Never. That is a very gloomy thing for contemplation, but it's like manure. Just as manure fertilizes the plants and so on. So the contemplation of death and the acceptance of death is very highly generative of creative life. You get wonderful things out of that. And the other thing to contemplate is to follow the possibility of the idea that you are totally selfish. That you don't have a good thing to be said for you at all. You are a complete, utter rascal. You are a complete, utter rascal. Now, the Christians have avoided this, because although they say in their Episcopalian form of confession that we have erred and strayed from thy ways like lost sheep, and we have followed too much the devices and desires of our own hearts, too much. We have offended against thy holy laws. We have left undone those things we ought to have done, and done those things which we ought not to have done, and there is no health in us. But it ought to be different. And we're going to do our best to amend with the help of God's grace. That is a real con act. If you equate health with genuine love and perfect unselfishness, then in that sense there is no health in us when we look at ourselves from this point of view. Consider death. To observe skulls and skeletons.
Oh.
Consider death. And to wonder what it will be like to go to sleep and never wake up. Never. Consider death. To observe skulls and skeletons. Consider death. And to wonder what it will be like to go to sleep and never wake up. Never.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Side A just keeps coming. Wow. Y'all make some noise, Meaningwave.
Akira. This ain't no middle mile.
You love yourself in terms of what is other. In terms of what is other. You love yourself in terms of what is other. In terms of what is other. Now, when you go deeply into the nature of selfishness, what do you discover? You say, I love myself, I seek my own advantage. Now, what is the self that I love? What do I want? And that becomes an increasingly ever-deepening puzzle. Now, I've often referred to this when you say to somebody else, I love you. It's always rather disconcerting to the person to whom you say that. If you imply that you love them with a pure, disinterested, and holy love, they automatically suspect it as being a little bit phony. But if you say, I love you so much I could eat you, that's an expression, as a way of saying to a person, you attract me so much that I can't help it. I'm absolutely bowled over by you. I'm gone. And people like that. Then they feel they're really being loved, that it's absolutely genuine. But now, I love you so much I could eat you. Now what the devil do I want? I certainly don't want to eat the girl in the sense of literally devouring her, because then she'd disappear. But I love myself. And what is me? In what way do I know me? Well, it suddenly occurs to me that I know me only in terms of you. See, when I think of anything that I know and that I like, then it's always something that can be viewed as other than me. I can never get to look at me, real me. It's always behind. It's always hidden. And I really don't know it well enough to know whether I love it or not. Maybe I don't. Maybe it's an appalling mess. But certainly the things I do love and that I want from a selfish point of view, when I really think about them, they're all something else that's in a way outside me. You love yourself in terms of what is other. In terms of what is other. You love yourself in terms of what is other. In terms of what is other. In sort of there is a reciprocity. A total mutual interdependence between what we call the self and what we call the other. That's the warp and the woof. And so, if you are perfectly honest about loving yourself, and you don't pull any punches, you don't pretend that you are anything other than exactly what you are, you suddenly come to discover that the self you love, if you really go into it, is the universe. You suddenly come to discover that the self you love, if you really go into it, is the universe. You don't like all of it. You are selective about it, as we saw in the beginning. Perception is selection. But on the whole, you love yourself in terms of what is other. In terms of what is other. You love yourself in terms of what is other. In terms of what is other. You love yourself in terms of what is other. In terms of what is other. You love yourself in terms of what is other. In terms of what is other. Because it's only in terms of what is other that you have a self at all. Woo!
Yo. Good Lord. Side A. Side A of the Web of Life Part 2. Can you believe that's only side? There's a side B and a side C. Coming up. A side B and a side C. Like, that's just first. That's math right there. That's just the first of 4 sides. How many bangers? How many utter nukes is it possible to fit on one album? That's ridiculous. I haven't listened to this record since last time when the vinyl first came in. So that would be a couple of years, I guess. And I've forgotten about that song. The song's amazing. What? Why are people constantly writing to me about that song? I feel that song is slept on. Like, that song's crazy. That song's crazy. If that song had been produced by Dr. Dre, people would be saying that's like one of his top 5, easy. Just like utter nuke city. Nuke city! David Owens says, how many bangers can you cram into 4 sides? We gon' find out. We gon' find out today. Aether Elephant says, beautiful tune, Mr. Don. You are breathtaking. Bungie Animator says, what crimes against humanity did Akira have to commit to fit this many bangers onto one piece of vinyl? Yo, that's a good ass question. That's a good ass question. It must be some kind of time loop thing. I don't think I've done enough to warrant. You gotta bear in mind, this is just one of like 70 odd albums. How many Meaningwave albums? Does anyone know? If you go to Meaningwave, actually, a way to find out is if you go to meaningwave.com, navigate to meaningwave.com, and hit the digital bundles link, which is the main splash page thing, and then navigate to the all Meaningwave bundle. That should have the truth for us. According to this, okay, 56 Meaningwave albums. 56 Meaningwave albums. 50, what? Right, this is just one. This is just a quarter. You just listen to a quarter of one of 56. Ugh. Dave Owen says I need to take a vacation after all those bangers on side 1. Fool Killer says a banger stockpile. Yeah, we're going to side 2. Let's see how side 2 fares. What do you reckon? What are your predictions for side 2? Do you think we're going to have lots of bangers, or do you think it's going to be mid? We'll see. We'll find out. We'll find out now. Now we'll find out as we go into side 2, or should I say side B? B! I'm giddy. Giddy. Has science gone too far? Bungie animates a good question.
One of the very great things that C.G. Jung contributed to mankind's understanding was the concept of the shadow. That everybody has a shadow. And that the main task of the psychotherapist is to do what he called to integrate the evil. To, as it were, put the devil in us in its proper function. Because you see, it's always the devil, the unacknowledged one, the outcast, the scapegoat, the bastard, the bad guy, you see, the black sheep of the family. It's always from that point, what we could call the fly in the ointment, you see, that generation comes. In other words, in the same way as in the drama, to have the play, it's necessary to introduce a villain. It's necessary to introduce a certain element of trouble. So, in the whole scheme of life, there has to be the shadow. The shadow. The bastard, the bad guy, the black sheep of the family. The shadow. Integrate the evil. Integrate the evil. The shadow. The bastard, the bad guy, the black sheep of the family. The shadow. Everybody has a shadow, because without the shadow there can't be the substance. So this is why there is a very strange association between crime and all naughty things and holiness. You see, holiness is way beyond being good. Good people aren't necessarily holy people. A holy person is one who is whole, who has, as it were, reconciled his opposites. And so there's always something slightly scary about holy people. And other people react to them in very strange ways. They can't make up their minds whether they're saints or devils. So holy people have, throughout history, always created a great deal of trouble, along with their creative results. Take Jesus, for example. Trouble that Jesus created is absolutely incalculable. Think of the Crusades, the Inquisition, heaven only knows what's gone on in the name of Jesus. Freud's a big troublemaker, as well as a great healer, you see. It all goes together. The shadow. The bastard, the bad guy, the black sheep of the family. The shadow. Integrate the evil. Integrate the evil. The shadow. The bastard, the bad guy, the black sheep of the family. The shadow. Everybody has a shadow, because without the shadow there can't be the substance. Holy person is scary because he is like the earthquakes, or better still, he's like the ocean. See the ocean on a lovely sunny day, you can say, oh, isn't that gorgeous, and you can go into it and relax and float around. But boy, when the storm comes, does that thing get mad? Terrifying. So there is in us the ocean, you see. And Jung felt that the whole point was to bring the two together by a kind of fantastic honesty, to penetrate one's own motivations to the depths.
Jung had a tremendous humor. And he knew
that nobody can be completely honest. You will try and have a great deal of success exploring your motivation, your dark, unconscious depths. That nobody can be completely honest. You will try and have a great deal of success, but there will be a certain point at which you will say, well, I've had enough of that. Do you see how, in a strange way, there's a certain sanity in that? When a person indulges in a certain kind of duplicity, of deception, there is something, you all laughed when I said that, there was something humorous about it. And this humor is a very funny thing. Basically, humor is an attitude of laughter about oneself. There is malicious humor, which is laughing at other people. But real deep humor is laughter at oneself. Now, why fundamentally do you laugh about yourself? What makes you laugh about yourself? Isn't it because you know that there is a big difference between what goes on the outside and what goes on the inside? That if I hint, you see, that your inside is the opposite of your outside, it makes people laugh. If I don't do it unkindly. If I get up in the attitude of a preacher and say, you're a bunch of miserable sinners and you ought to be different, nobody laughs. But if I say, well, after all, boys will be boys and girls will be girls, and we all know, then people laugh. Nobody can be completely honest. You will try and have a great deal of success exploring your motivation, your dark, unconscious depths. That nobody can be completely honest. You will try and have a great deal of success, but there will be a certain point at which you will say, well, I've had enough of that. Now, you see, what's happening when we do that? Now, I passed you around a lot of embroidery to look at before we started. And I'm perfectly sure that you got the point. That there's a big difference between the front and the back. In some forms of embroidery, the back is very different from the front because people take shortcuts. In the front, everything is orderly, and it is supposed to be kind of messy on the back side. See, which side will you wear? You've got to be sure you get the front in front, have the back in the back. The back has all the little tricks in it, all the shortcuts, all the lowdown that people don't acknowledge. And it's exactly the same with the way we live. You know, like sweeping the dust under the carpet in a hurry just before the guests come. I mean, we do ever so many things like that. And if you don't do it, if you don't think you do it, and you think, well, really, my embroidery is the same on both sides, see? Well, you're deceiving yourself. Because what you're doing is you're taking the shortcuts in another dimension, which you're keeping out of consciousness. Everybody takes the shortcuts. Everybody plays tricks. Everybody has in himself an element of duplicity, of deception. Because you see, from this point of view that I'm discussing, where the web is the trap, to be is to deceive. Nobody can be completely honest. You will try and have a great deal of success exploring your motivation, your dark, unconscious depths, that nobody can be completely honest. You will try and have a great deal of success, but there will be a certain point at which you will say, well, that's enough of that.
To be is to deceive. To be is to deceive. Think of camouflage. The chameleon who changes its color. Think of the butterfly pretending it has eyes. Think of the flower saying to the bee, like my honey? Bee says, wow. But then that means that the bee has to be. It has to go on living and all the trouble it takes to go around collecting honey and raising other bees and organizing itself and doing that dance which tells the other bees where there's more honey. There's all that stuff to do. But the flower was deceptive. Life is a drama, and a drama is a deception, a big act. When you peel an onion and you don't really understand the nature of an onion, you might look for the pit in the center, like any ordinary fruit has. But the onion doesn't have a center. It's all skins. So when you get right down, there's nothing but a bunch of skins. You say, well, that was kind of disappointing. But of course, you have to understand that the skins are the part that you eat. Well, in rather the same way you find when you explore yourself and your motivation, you go through and through and you try to find out that thing which really is genuine. That thing which really is genuine. Well, in rather the same way you find when you explore yourself and your motivation, you go through and through and you try to find out that thing which really is genuine. That thing which really is genuine. That's why in Zen discipline, they give you koans which require a perfectly genuine act. An act of total and absolute sincerity. And people knock themselves out trying to do this thing. But they always know that the master's going to catch them. Because he reads their thought. You know that story of von Kleist about the man who had a fight with a bear, and the bear would read his thoughts? So that the only way of hitting the bear was to do so not on purpose. Because the bear would know in advance. So it's the same in working with a Zen master. You have to do the genuine act, not on purpose. But since you are put in a situation where it's rather formal and you're supposed to do it on purpose, you're stuck, see? So you explore the onion and you go in and in and in, and then you find, well, it's all a deception. Well, in rather the same way you find when you explore yourself and your motivation, you go through and through and you try to find out that thing which really is genuine. That thing which really is genuine. Well, in rather the same way you find when you explore yourself and your motivation, you go through and through and you try to find out that thing which really is genuine. That thing which really is genuine.
Oh shit!
Now then the question arises, who's deceiving who? Who's fooling who? I'm fooling me? What is fooling? Now then the question arises, who's deceiving who? Who's fooling who? I'm fooling me? What is fooling? Fooling is playing like you're there when you're not. You know, getting somebody else to answer your name in the roll call. So, we're all, you see, this is the metaphysical basis of it. This is what the Hindus mean by Maya, the world illusion. The world is playing it's there when it isn't. And it's a trap. And it sucks you in. And you can't get out of it. And it's a trap. And it sucks you in. And you can't get out of it. And it's a thorough big trap too. But always, when you get an idea like this or a feeling like this, follow it to its extreme. Don't back out from it. If you find you're selfish, go to the extreme of what selfishness means. Confusion largely results from not following feelings or ideas to their depth. You know, people think they want to be immortal. They'd like to live forever. Do you really want to do that? Think about it. Really go into it. What it would be like. People say they want this, that, and the other. They want this kind of car. They want this kind of dress. This much money, and so on. It's always a good idea to think it right through. What it would involve to be in that situation, to have those desires fulfilled. It's a trap. And it sucks you in. And you can't get out of it. It's a trap. And it sucks you in. And you can't get out of it. It's a trap. And it sucks you in. And you can't get out of it. It's a trap. And it sucks you in. And you can't get out of it. Also, when you form a relationship to another person, think it through too. You see? How inconvenient would they be? However attractive. Always turn the embroidery round and look at the underside, but don't get caught doing it. See, that's something one does on the side, in secret. Because otherwise you play the game that everything is as it's supposed to be on the front. But that makes you humorous. And that makes you human. But that makes you humorous. And that makes you human. But that makes you humorous. And that makes you human. But that makes you humorous. we've discussed the web from 3 points of view. As an analogy of the selective operation of our senses and mind, whereby certain things in the world are picked out as significant according to certain game rules. The game that we are playing mostly is the survival game. That is to say, the game ought to go on. The way we play the survival game has a kind of element in it which makes it difficult, because we tend to say the first rule of this game is that it's serious. And that messes the whole thing up. So you have to watch out, in other words, when you play, for contradictory game rules, self-contradictory game rules. Because if you get mixed up into them, the game ceases to be worth the candle. You start straining at doing something, then it just isn't worth it. Then the second thing that we observed was the web as an analogy of mutual interdependence. We could call it the idea that all existence is relative, that all existence is transaction. The transaction being typically exemplified by, say, the operation of buying and selling, in which there can be no buying without somebody selling, and there can be no selling without somebody else buying. That kind of interdependence, of the inside going together with the outside. What is in you going together with what is outside you is absolutely fundamental to existence. It is existence. Existence is relativity. Existence is relativity. Existence is relativity. What is in you going together with what is outside you is absolutely fundamental to existence. It is existence. Existence is relativity. Existence is relativity. Existence is relativity. Then we explored the web as a trap. The spider's web. Won't you come into my parlor, said the spider to the fly. And we saw what would look at all of life from the point of view that it is original selfishness and original hunger. And we found that if you take that point of view to its ultimate extreme, it dissolves. And it isn't so bad after all. Shakespeare says, it is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. When it's put that way, it doesn't seem so bad after all. What is in you going together with what is outside you is absolutely fundamental to existence. It is existence. Existence is relativity. Existence is relativity. Existence is relativity. What is in you going together with what is outside you is absolutely fundamental to existence. It is existence. Existence is relativity. Existence is relativity. Existence is relativity. I remember that I had a Zen master friend who wrote a letter to a friend of mine which was passed on to me. This friend of mine was aspiring to be a writer, and he was trying to write novels that would put across Buddhism to people. Sugar the pill. And my Zen master friend didn't approve of this at all. He said, don't write any story to people. Write it to the great sky. Because all the real masters of literature, especially novelists and storytellers, are great masters of nonsense. Think of Lewis Carroll. You can use Lewis Carroll, and he did use Alice in Wonderland as a Zen textbook. 'Twas brillig and the slithy toes that gyre and gimble in the wave. That's Zen. I had a discussion with a great master in Japan. We were talking about the various people who are working to translate the Zen books into English. He said, that's a waste of time. If you really understand Zen, he said, you can use any book You could use the Bible. You could use Alice in Wonderland. You could use the dictionary. Because, he said, the sound of the rain needs no translation. 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 Evening rain. It is the banana leaf that speaks of it first. You see, that's the point. And all the talk in the world doesn't get it unless you listen to the talk in a new way. The sound of the rain needs no translation. The sound of the rain needs no translation. The sound of the rain needs no translation. The sound of the rain needs no translation.
Wow.
Bloody hell.
I wasn't expecting that. Having not listened to this album for years and having not made it for years, I made it years ago. I forgot the sequencing. Good Lord! What were we like? Okay, let's see. Will side B be mid? After the utter magnificence of side 1, I think side 2 trumps side 1. I don't know about you. I don't know. Look at this. Look at it. It's got a lovely sleeve. You see this? You see? Look at that. Look at that. The candy lemon center, and the neon pinky purple. Ugh. So choice. Meaningwave.com. Get you one of these if you ain't got one. Meaningwave.com. Happiness. It's a side effect of meaning. Good Lord! Wow, what an amazing side. And I just capped off with what there is a masterpiece. I'm not afraid to admit that is obviously a masterpiece. That's one of those like greatest things ever committed to physical media type joints. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Good Lord. And I do recall now how very, very pleased I was when that came into existence, because it was sonically something I'd been wanting to do for decades, since like 1999 or something like that. And there you go, that exists. Glorious. Someone was asking how long it took me to do the piano, and I can't remember. I remember making that song, and it was made in, an evening. It was made in a session, and I remember it coming, and I remember being really excited, being, oh my God, this is what's in my mind, and it's coming into being. I remember singing the guitar parts and sending them to my guitarist, and with a very detailed explanation of how the thing to be built. I was very excited when I got the brass working, and when I was playing that brass. The whole thing's wonderful. Very pleased. Very pleased. Big up Andrew Komaromi, member for 35 months, says, got a notice from the post office that Meaningwave exists for me to pick up. Jocko Vinyl or Red Monolith? If that ain't good, I don't know what is. I can tell you now. That's a good point. Jocko Monolith orderers, If you ordered a Jocko monolith as part of the Jocko campaign, those are shipping right now. Those are flying around the world right now. Those have been built, created, lovingly manufactured by Dan Elliott, and they're flying around to you. So that is something to be excited about. Someone sent us a picture. Someone got all 3 monoliths, and they sent us a picture of the monoliths. Wifey told me about that. I haven't seen it yet. It sounds glorious. Word around town is when you've got 5, you can open a portal. Only 3 exist. Dave Owen says the piano was first, then the guitar, so good together. Yeah, the piano was definitely first with that song. Actually, the words were first. First was Alan Watts, then came the piano. Then came the drums, and in various sequence, and the strings, and the guitar. And I could probably do a stream and look at the session and see how it was created. Let me know if you're interested in that kind of a thing. Hood Canal Crew, thank you for the $50. You beautiful being. That is very appreciated. So Akira can stop up on chicken wings to respectfully chow down under the counter. Now that will go to the Akira Building a Studio Fund, which is what's going on right now. We're building a studio. I will be moving out of this little Airbnb room that I'm in into a studio that is being built. Built, I say. So I think we'll be going into that. I'm currently working out how we're affording that right now. So thank you very much. That's very much appreciated. Dave Owen, new member. Oh boy. Welcome to level 1. You're going to be able to download the mixes like that over 9,000 mix that just dropped last week. You can also employ and deploy the Alan Watts emoji in the chat right now. Thank you to everyone that supports Meaningwave. We're going to listen to Side C. Bloody hell, Side C, what do we expect from Side C? What could follow that? What could possibly follow the glory that was Side A and B? Let me make sure I've got the right side here. Side C, this is indeed Side C. Let's get the visual on there as we drop the needle, as we drop it like 'twas a bad habit that we were no longer in need of. And we're going to press play. Make some noise for yourself. Shout out to everyone locked in. You bad mama chummers. Hood Canal Crew says, Akira the Don told YouTube to stuff it with their ads. So I made an ad to make sure you get your under-bench nose tissues. That's nice, isn't it? God bless you. Onward to glory!
So you see, there's something going on. This web may be looked at as pattern, and the world is basically patterning. What else do you do when you come to think of it? What else do you do when you come to think of it? When you eat, you are turning food into the pattern of your skeleton, your muscles, and your nervous system. That's a pattern. And you say, you see, basically, hooray for that pattern. That's a pattern. And you say, you see, basically, hooray for that pattern. But then you want other patterns. You like to look through a microscope and see the patterns that exist in the small world. And see the patterns. You like to look through a kaleidoscope or a teleidoscope and see the patterns. You like to have paintings around and see the patterns. You like to watch the water play and see the patterns. You want to watch the birds go and the clouds and all that. Fascinating patterns. And that really doesn't it seem to be the point? I mean, what do you do when you're very rich? Take some rascal of ancient times who became very rich by all sorts of skullduggery and warfare and so on. He got himself a suit of armor, a beautiful sword, and he had the armorer, make the most intricate patterns, arabesques of inlaid gold on the steel. Why? Because it's, as they say among the Pennsylvania Dutch, it's for nice. It's a great thing to have all that jazz. And that's what we go for. That's a pattern. And you say, you see, basically, hooray for that pattern. That's a pattern. And you say, you see, basically, hooray for that pattern. But then you want other patterns. You like to look through a microscope and see the patterns that exist in the small world. And see the patterns. You like to look through a kaleidoscope or a teleidoscope and see the patterns. You like to have paintings around and see the patterns. You like to watch the water play and see the patterns. You want to watch the birds go and the clouds and all that. Fascinating patterns. Perfect. People do most of the time. And what would they like to do, really? What's your idea of heaven? What's your idea of heaven? What do people do most of the time? What would they like to do, really? What's your idea of heaven? What's your idea of heaven? When people are unoccupied, as far as I can make out, they get together and they sing and dance. Or else watch somebody else do it. Nowadays we live in a non-participative culture and we don't do very much singing and dancing. We are lugubrious. But we watch other people do it on television. What we really are interested in is to be able to spend all the time going food about it, 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 food about it. You know, some methods. And that's what our heart's doing, that's what our lungs are doing, it's what our eyeballs are doing, and it's what all these fantastic capillaries of the veins are doing. They're going just judy boo hubba bubba body. You see? And that's the point. Now the thing is, ought this to be allowed? You know, dare we admit it? What do people do most of the time? What would they like to do, really? What's your idea of heaven? What's your idea of heaven? What do people do most of the time? What would they like to do, really? What's your idea of heaven? What's your idea of heaven? Because we've been brought up, you see, in a cultural context in which the universe is presided over by somebody serious. It's only very, very occasional obscure references in the Jewish and Christian scriptures to the idea that God dances. Of course, in Hindus they know Shiva dances, and all the gods dance. They're represented in the dance. But in our way of looking at things, no. Back, deep down in, there is something that you must respect. You mustn't laugh in church, especially if you got in front of the throne of heaven. Everybody would be dead silent. Wow, you see, I mean, that's really serious. Here is the Father Almighty, world without end. And you watch out. Don't you? Father Almighty world without end is a very insecure fellow. If anybody laughed, he might feel uneasy, you know. Something wrong going on. That someone challenged his power. He's a funny fellow, you see, as we've mythologized ultimate reality in the form of this cosmic grandpapa who is also a king and is demanding above all things reverence and respect. So it's difficult for us, because of that cultural heritage, to accept, to accommodate our common sense to the idea that the web might basically be playful. That it might be like somebody saying, "Won't you come and play with me?" The child. And the other child has some little hesitation. I don't know whether I ought to play with you. You come from the wrong side of the track. I don't feel like playing today. I feel serious. I don't think play is important. We ought to do something real, like wash the dishes for mother, who, incidentally, has forgotten that the whole point of washing the dishes is playful. Arranging the patterns of life 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 is playful. You don't wash the dishes for a serious reason. You like the table to look nice, you know. You don't want to serve up the dishes for dinner with all the leavings of breakfast still lying on them. So why do you want the table to look nice? Well, again, it's for nice. You like the pattern of it that way. People get terribly compulsive about doing these things. And they think that going on arranging the patterns of life is something that's a duty. That means a debt, that you owe it to yourself or to your family or to someone or other. You're in debt. See, that's the trouble. When a child comes into the world, the parents play an awful game on it. Instead of being honest, they say, "We've made such great sacrifices for you. Here we are, we've supported you, we've paid for your education, and you're an ungrateful little bastard." And the child feels terribly guilty, because what we do is we build into every human being the idea that existence is guilt. It's playful. out for them because they're hoaxers. And they say that guilt is ontological. If you're not feeling guilty, you're not human. That was because Papa and Mama said, look at all the trouble you've caused us. You shouldn't dare to exist. You have no rights, but maybe we'll give you some out of the generosity of our hearts so that you'll be permanently indebted to us. And so everybody goes around with that sort of thing in their background unless they have different kinds of papas and mamas who didn't play that trick. And if they don't do it, somebody else does it. Auntie comes around and says, you don't realize what your father and mother have done for you. You think you know you can just stay around here and goof off, but they have sweated blood to give you your clothes and food and so on, and you ought to be grateful for it. But that's not the way to make people grateful. They won't be grateful that way. They'll imitate gratefulness. They'll go and put on a big show and say, oh, thank you so much, I feel so indebted to you, and so on and so forth, and they'll make it look good. But it isn't real. But it isn't real. Because, actually, one's father and mother had a great deal of fun bringing you into being, or we hope they did. And they wanted to do that the worst way. They have no reason to complain about all these things and try and make the children feel guilty. It's playful. Arranging patterns of life. It's playful. It is an amazing thing in our culture. Everybody is afflicted with ontological guilt. For example, if a policeman comes to the door, everybody is instantly frightened. You wonder, what on earth have I done? And there are certain clergy who are absolute experts in making you feel guilty. They are really marvelous. And there are clergy of all kinds, for all classes, and for all levels of intelligence. And they can make you feel real guilty. Only you have to watch always what games people are playing. You have to watch always what games people are playing. You have to watch always what games people are playing. You have to watch always what games people are playing. Now you see, the thing is that really is a puzzle. They don't admit they're playing games. And when a person is playing games and doesn't admit that they're playing games, then you have some kind of a trickster who isn't really being fair to you. Now, of course, the game, that this game is not a game, has a certain kind of a fascinating quality to it. How mixed up can we all get? Let's try. How mixed up can we all get? Let's try. See? There's a certain possibility in that. I would like to go insane and be as insane as anybody has ever been and be the farthest out crazy nut in the world. See? That's a game. But it's not a good game. It's a game being played by a person who didn't really understand that everyday life was a game too. And I think the most important thing is to admit this. Only you have to watch always what games people are playing. You have to watch always what games people are playing. You have to watch always what games people are playing. You have to watch always what games people are playing. All really humane people admit that they're rascals. That's, you see, on the side of the not respectable, the selfish. But so also, all humane people should admit that they're jokers, that they're playing games and playing tricks. That I am doing it on you. I am most ready to admit this. I hoaxed you all into coming here to tell you what? It was a trap, you see, but I'm going to make it an entertaining trap so that you won't feel so badly about it. Now, this is philosophy, but I think philosophy is like music. You go to a concert and you listen to somebody play Bach or Mozart or Beethoven. And what's all that about? And what's all that about? You know, it isn't about anything except that's what it's about. That's what it's about. And so, in the same way, as I conceive my work as a philosopher, I'm simply pointing out that existence is the same kind of a thing as the Bach invention. It's going this way and that way, and hills and waters going all out there, and the fish are going around in it, and breeding, and the ducks are... And that's the same thing as dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. See? So, if you can admit that that's what it's all about, you have a little problem. Because there's not only the threat that it really might be serious and that you shouldn't be laughing about it, but there's also a kind of opposite. Then are you saying it's merely just fiddling around? See? I mean, you're saying it's only a game? Is that all there is to it? Well, what do you think? You see, this again is a question that everybody has to think things through. What did you want? Didn't you want a game? Did you want it to be serious in the end? I mean, think about the question. What kind of a thing would you like God to be? What would you like to do for eternity? Really?
All together!
That's what it's about. That's what it's about. That's what it's about.
Yo, if there's one thing I like, it's a nice slow fade. Side C, ladies and gentlemen, side C of the Web of Life Part 2. And, well, if this isn't nice, I don't know what is. How y'all doing out there? How you doing out there? We're gonna go in on side D. Oh my goodness. We're about to go in on D. We got a poll going down. How's the poll looking? What's the best side? We're asking in the poll. I know that is a silly question. You know what I mean? The best side is the inside of this package right here, which is all the sides. The whole, you know what I mean? Oh my goodness. Look how beautiful that looks. I'm just seeing what the camera shot looks like here, and just the glory of the color of that thing, and this t-shirt, and the whole thing, it all matches. Isn't this nice? If this is nice, I don't know what is. Wattswave, the Web of Life, Part 2. Meaningwave.com. Get your vinyl, get this shirt. This is one of my favorites. I really like wearing this one, but you know, we have so many fire clothings. We have so many fire clothings. This stream is brought to you by Meaningwave.com. Meaningwave, more than music. Pew, 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 pew. Head on over to Meaningwave.com today. Open up another tab in your browser. Head on over it. Pick yourself something nice. Spring is coming. You want to be fly? Get yourself something fly, my guy, my girl, my homie, my brother, my sister, my hermano, mi hermana. And get yourself vinyl. If you don't have the vinyl, get yourself the vinyl. I don't care if you don't got a turntable. I don't care if you don't got electricity. Get this thing. You need this. When the walls come tumbling down, you're going to want this. It's beautiful. Just have it. Just to have it. You know, if you get attacked by zombies, you need to throw a frisbee at them like in Shaun of the Dead. Do it with all the other ones and not this. But if you got to do it with this, at least it will look fly. D's coming up. Full Killer, that's right. D starts off hot. Says Full Killer. How does D start? I don't even remember. I don't even know. But I'm trying to think of what's on this album that we haven't heard yet. And there's some serious joints. There's some serious joints. Got a shout out to the crew. Sudratej, thank you for the 321 super chat. Says, gosh, this is lovely. Isn't it just? Bellissimo B, who's a member, shouts out to member Bellissimo B, says, Meaningwave saves lives. 23 months of Bellissimo B. 32 months of Michael Not in Seattle, who dropped a bunch of the emojis, maybe all of them. And that is dope. Shout out to everyone locked in. Someone was saying, Akira, you should do Richard Feynman Meaningwave. I'm glad chat corrected. We got Feinwave exists. 2 songs so far. More to come. 2 songs thus far. Both bangers, both classics. Both played. Both the #1 song in heaven. At various points. All right, we're going on for D. I bet cat that. F-A. Hey. What is it? Hotaka. L-M-N-A. O-P-Q. L-A-S-A-T. Oh, I forgot N-Y. N-A-N-Y. Ube. Double. Is it double or double V? I can't remember. X. Y-Z. Alright, Tango. Solo uno. Uno mas. Day. Listo, brothers and sisters. Hang on, I need to switch this over. All right. Archer. Anyway. Cambio. There you go. Cambio. All right, let's drop it like it's painful to the touch. Know what I mean? Are you all ready? We're going in. This is side D, the final side of this sonic adventure, which really has been quite quite a joy to undertake with you, beautiful Meaningwave enjoyer.
Thanks.
Whoa! Oh, that's how we go. That's how we're kicking off. That's how we're kicking off. Oh shoot! Let's get it!
Akira.
Aki tiene.
Gone. He's good.
Cheeto.
Here is Jan van Eyck who paints the eschatological picture of the Last Judgment.
Blah.
What a strange man he must have been. Heaven above and hell below. And in heaven, here's God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Ghost, all there together, and Virgin Mary, and the apostles, and they're all sitting in committee. And they have an aisle, just like in church, and there they are facing each other, and they're all sitting there, very solemn. I don't know what it's about. I don't know what it's about. Right at the end of the aisle, you see, where all these apostles are sitting, is St. Michael. A rather gorgeous figure in beautiful armor, with wings. And underneath him is a bat-winged skull. And beneath those bat wings, all horror is let loose. Michael is about to slush that skull, see, with his sword. But below, there are nude bodies, some of them pretty comely. They're all squirming in there, and they're being eaten by worms. I don't know what it's about. I don't know what it's about. Eating the worms, and there's a kind of a mush. It's like the sort of situation you find when you turn up a big rock. There's all that going on underneath. Now, there's no question whatever that Van Eyck, the painter, had more fun painting that part of the picture than he did painting the top part. So in the same way with Hieronymus Bosch and with Bruegel, they painted every kind of weird, surrealistic deviltry going on. And they really loved it. But they couldn't admit it. I don't know what it's about.
¿Por qué? ¿Ah? ¿Por qué? Oh my goodness.
Now, the only time when the holy people had a ball was when, for example, the Islamic artists made arabesques and the Celtic artists made fantastically intricate lattices to decorate the margins of their gospels and missals. They are unbelievably beautiful, or take stained glass or something like that. But what are they doing? What's it all about? What are they doing? What's it all about? What will you do in heaven? What will you do in heaven?
and he likes to put another melody that fits in with it. And another one that fits in with both. And then a fourth one. And arrange them together, and he invents an instrument like an organ that he plays with two hands. Then he adds foot pedals so that he can play with his 2 feet. And he gets this hand doing one rhythm, this doing another, this doing another, and this doing another. See, that makes it complicated. And so when drummers get together and somebody starts out with a certain rhythm, and then that rhythm has holes in it. In other words, it has certain silences, and the next drummer fills those silences in an interesting way. He comes and picks out a pattern. And what do you imagine DNA is? The basic form of biological existence. Now, DNA is like a necklace with different kinds of beads in it. And according to the order and the way those beads are arranged, so you get genes, and so you get the particular form of life that emerges from those genes. So what we're doing way down is saying, she loves me, she don't, she'll have me, she won't, she would if she could, but she can't. She loves me, she don't, she'll have me, she won't, she would if she could, but she can't. She loves me, she don't, she'll have me, she won't, she would if she could, but she can't. She loves me, she don't, she'll have me, she won't, she would if she could, but she can't. If this is the way life is going on.
Good Lord.
She loves me, she don't, she'll have me, she won't, she would if she could, but she can't. She loves me, she don't, she'll have me, she won't, she would if she could, but she can't. She loves me, she don't, she'll have me, she won't, she would if she could, but she can't. If this is the way life is going on. The question is then, see, in your heart of hearts, you can take the attitude that all this is terrible, or that it's dreadfully serious. You see, you can play comedies, you can play tragedies, farces, histories and romances and all that kind of thing, and you can take these various attitudes to it. But if you are awakened, and as it were, you've been let into the secret, which is what we've been talking about, as the web is also the curtain, the veil which hides the face of God from the angels. See, there's always this veil. That's why we like to striptease. There's an implication that you should never give the show completely away. There always should be a little bit of the veil left, you see. There always is. There always is. Because even if you find the striptease artist gets completely naked, there's really something hidden. What's the motivation? What sort of a person is she? Would I really like to embrace her? Or would she have bad breath? You never really know. You never really get to the bottom. That's why everybody, all men, poets say that women are basically mysterious. And they ought to be. So are men basically mysterious. From women's point of view. Although they play that they're not. See, this is the way it goes. Men are supposed to be very open. And they say, well, of a certain situation, this is the way it is. After all, it's perfectly rational. It's a matter of practical affairs. And women say, well, they say, I'm not quite as articulate as you are, but I know there's something you've left out, but I can't explain it. And by this means, everything is kept going. She loves me, she don't, she loves me, she won't, she will if you do what she can. She loves me, she don't, she loves me, she won't, she will if you do what she can. She loves me, she don't, she loves me, she won't, she will if you do what she can. This is the way life is going on. She loves me, she don't, she loves me, she won't, she will if you do what she can. She loves me, she don't, she loves me, she won't, she will if you do what she can. She loves me, she don't, she loves me, she won't, she will if you do what she can. This is the way life is going on. As a result comes all this. You see?
doing is I think this.
Oh, baby.
I'm trying to share with you a certain style of life and an attitude to life and an insight. I've taken you on one side and said,
Listen, kids. Things aren't what they seem. Don't be fooled. Listen, kids. Things aren't what they seem. Don't be fooled. Listen, kids. Things aren't what they seem. Don't be fooled. There's a big deception going on, and you're involved in it. So I just thought you ought to know. I'm terribly puzzled about the way people go out of their way to disenjoy themselves. They take so much trouble about it. And all around you have only to look and you see this perfect passion for making the world look grisly. And it isn't only job builders and garage owners who do this kind of thing, it's also people who profess to be painters. They're actually using excrements for painting in Paris today, on the theory that the world is shot to pieces, and that since the artist is a representative of his times, he ought to show the times as they really are, as a social critic. So he makes the most weird. He paints Campbell's soup cans, and he makes music that shrieks and screams. He just goes out of his way to make it sound as ugly as he possibly can manage. And the ingenuity is about that is endless. Because that is the times. This is critical. See? Listen, kids. Things aren't what they seem. Don't be fooled. Listen, kids. Things aren't what they seem. Don't be fooled. Listen, kids. Things aren't what they seem. Don't be fooled. There's a big deception going on, and you're involved in it, but I just thought you ought to know it. Let's take the character of the Pied Piper, the person who brings you an invitation to dance. I say then, you see, there is going to be a dance this evening, and I would like you all to come. That's the spirit in which I invite you to a seminar. I am not inviting you in the spirit of saying, no, we're going to have to discuss some very grave matters, and you ought to be awake to all these things and arouse your social conscience. When you get through with all that, then what? When you get through with all that, then what? When you get through with feeding the hungry and clothing the naked, and we are making great strides with automation and technology in abolishing poverty totally, then what are we going to do? Then what are we going to do? Well, you see, if you've got all these people clothed and fed and so on, and then they say, well, now what next? If you've got a kind of Quakerish state of mind, you don't know what to do. Well, feed and clothe somebody else. Get busy. But then, where is that leading? Listen, kids. Things aren't what they seem. Don't be fooled. Listen, kids. Things aren't what they seem. Don't be fooled. Listen, kids. Things aren't what they seem. Don't be fooled. There's a big deception going on, and you're involved in it, but I just thought you ought to know it. Listen, kids. Things aren't what they seem. Don't be fooled. Listen, kids. Things aren't what they seem. Don't be fooled. Listen, kids. Things aren't what they seem. Don't be fooled. There's a big deception going on, and you're involved in it, but I just thought you ought to know it.
Come on. Yo! What?
Akira.
He's got clout.
To spread joy, you have to have it. to impart delight, you have to be more or less delightful. And to be delightful is not some factor of trying to make yourself look delightful. It is to do things that are delightful to you. Do things that are delightful to you. Do things that are delightful to you. You become thereby delightful to others. It is to do things that are delightful to you. Do things that are delightful to you. Do things that are delightful to you. You become thereby delightful to others. That's to say, people who are interesting are people who are interested. Any person, for example, who is constantly thinking about all sorts of other things and other people and so on, because they're fascinating, becomes a fascinating person. But a person who doesn't think about anybody else and who's got very little going on inside their skull is boring. So in other words, your engagement with the external world, the more you are involved, the more your personality is enriched. Do things that are delightful to you. Do things that are delightful to you. Do things that are delightful to you. You become thereby delightful to others. Do things that are delightful to you. Do things that are delightful to you. Do things that are delightful to you. You become thereby delightful to others. But if you try to enrich your personality by taking a course in how to win friends and influence people, or how to be a real person, you'll become just a washout. You'll be like somebody trying to get a good nutrition by biting his nails, and then the fingers next, and then half an arm gone and so on. You're entirely nourishing yourself with yourself. Now, of course, on a vast scale, the universe does that. It eats itself up. That's why the symbol of the snake swallowing its tail is a fundamental, archaic symbol of life. But the way it's done is that the snake has in some part of the ring a place where it's not sensitive. It's called the unconscious. Where it doesn't know that what comes to it in the form of food is actually what left it in the form of excrement. That thing is... Don't mention it. After all, as the Lord said at the beginning of the universe, you must draw the line somewhere. Do things that are delightful to you. Do things that are delightful to you. Do things that are delightful to you. You become thereby delightful to others. Do things that are delightful to you. Do things that are delightful to you. Do things that are delightful to you. You become thereby delightful to others. And so, as a result of there always being a kind of gap, that's the gap, like where the electric spark jumps. That's the thing behind your head, behind your eyes that you could never get to look at. It's the gap. And because of that little gap, the circle doesn't just revolve in a dull way, just go round and round and round like a boring thing. It has rhythm. See, if I say, no rhythm. See, it's just one long sound. After a while, we say, oh, cut it out. Or we just become insensitive to it. What we want to hear is the break in it, you see. And we want to hear it go on, and vanish, and come back again, and so on. And it sets up a rhythm. That becomes interesting. That's putting gaps between. See? You need those gaps. You need those gaps. See? You find that you're a rhythm doing a rhythm. You find that you're a rhythm doing a rhythm. You find that you're a rhythm doing a rhythm. Rhythm doing a rhythm. Rhythm doing a rhythm doing a rhythm. You find that you're a rhythm doing a rhythm. You find that you're a rhythm doing a rhythm. You find that you're a rhythm doing a rhythm. And behind that was another rhythm doing a rhythm. So now you see it, now you don't. Now you see it, now you don't. Oh, that's pretty dull. So now you see it, now you don't. Now you see it, now you don't. Oh, that's pretty dull. So what we're going to do is this. We're going to have you see it 3 times, and then with a regular not see it between them. Then there's going to be a longer not see it after that one. And then I'm going to do something very complicated after that, so that you don't really know when it's going to come next. So there's going to be a surprise. You know how we all do that? You find that you're a rhythm doing a rhythm. You find that you're a rhythm doing a rhythm. You find that you're a rhythm doing a rhythm. Rhythm doing a rhythm. Rhythm doing a rhythm doing a rhythm. You find that you're a rhythm doing a rhythm. You find that you're a rhythm doing a rhythm. You find that you're a rhythm doing a rhythm. And behind that there's another rhythm doing a rhythm. And interesting people are those who do this in very involved ways. Dull people, sort of people who put their hats on absolutely straight, are the kind of people, for example, who have the same meal every day, exactly the same thing, always. See? They have no inventiveness. They have the same routine, they go to the same office, they answer the same kind of letters, and that's that. See? But then, if they want to start up a more interesting kind of business and make more money, we take the people who make clothes. They figure out fashion. It's going to be a new thing for ladies, a new style. We're going to make them do long skirts instead of the short skirts. Like this. Then finally they thought about having topless women. They're going to play around with that and have an absolutely scandalous ball. But that's the whole thing, you see. It's this thing of rhythm. And yes, you ask, well, I see that. What is wrong with rhythm? Who after all am I? And as you explore deeper and deeper and deeper into the nature of yourself, you find that you're a rhythm doing a rhythm. You find that you're a rhythm doing a rhythm. You find that you're a rhythm doing a rhythm. Rhythm doing a rhythm. Rhythm doing a rhythm doing a rhythm. You find that you're a rhythm doing a rhythm. You find that you're a rhythm doing a rhythm. You find that you're a rhythm doing a rhythm. And behind that was another rhythm doing a rhythm. Your vibration and a groove is doing all. And a groove is doing all. Why he just came around very well. We were looking for him and he vanished. And a groove is doing all. And a groove is doing all. Why he just came around very well. We were looking for him and he vanished. Who's doing all this? Who's doing all this? Who's doing all this? And then just when we weren't looking for him again, there he is. But every time we try to see, he isn't there. Now do you see that? That situation is what's called life.
Well, there you go. Good Lord. The Web of Life Part 2. The Web of Life Part 2. How many songs on that there album? 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15. There's 20 songs on that album. That album's got 20 songs on it. Good Lord. At least one of them could have been mid. At least one of them could have been bad. No. Can't do it. Can't do it. Impossible. Yo, make some noise, brothers and sisters, for the Web of Life Part 2, Meaningwave LP number, I don't know. I should know which number of Meaningwave LP that was. I need to retroactively insert a numbering system. Who's doing all this? M. Zincy says, will the previous Wattswave albums ever be available on vinyl anytime soon? There's two things there. Ever, anytime soon. What I plan to do is to make the previous... What albums? It's Wattswave Dreams and How to Be a Better Person. So when the next one is released, I plan to do an Indiegogo to make those ones available. When the next Watts album is released. Also but we're also going to need to put The Wolf on vinyl as well, since that's a Stone Cold classic. Stone Cold classic. Let me know what you want. Let me know what you want. Wagga says, I thought I was looking at a Hidewave thumbnail when you were looking at what? This one? This one? What, you think Alan Watts looks like Sam Hyde in this visual? Sam Hyde's like trickster father, perhaps. Imagine if Alan Watts like got into like TRT and like squatting buses. Oh my goodness. Shout out to my guy Sammy. Samuel, I just saw someone posted a thing earlier. Funko Pops are in trouble and they're like having to get rid of millions of them or something because there's just too many. As always, Sam Hyde thought of all this and very recently released a video in which he was frying them. Frying Funko Pops. Modern problems require modern solutions. Cree says that we need this uploaded to the Black Knight satellite and broadcast to all Earthlings. I agree. You're right. I still can't get over how fucking good that record is. Like, every track is amazing in its own way, and some are just ridiculously amazing in all manner of ways. I went very, very deep on the sound design on this record. There'll be like little, like if he mentions a sword, you hear a sword. He's talking about drums playing inside rhythms of different drums and things. That's all happening in real time as we're listening. Sweet baby Jesus. Sif Cypher says, isn't it normally worse on the last side? This man just put the spiciest bangers on D. Yeah, a few people were saying D was the side, you know. A few people was like looking at D to be the side. I mean, it's a commonly known situation with Meaningwave that due to the nature of how I'm often writing the records, it's often if it's like from an entire speech, it's in a linear fashion often, so you kind of like you pick up speed as you're going along in a way, and you kind of get deeper into the zone of the record as you're going along. So oftentimes that would end up in the early days of the albums being backloaded. Normally you're supposed to front load an album, like put the biggest tracks at the beginning. But due to the way I was writing them, it's like they'd always like just get to like pure glory by the end, which isn't a bad thing. I mean, as a listening experience, that's what you want. You want the thing to build and build and build and build, and you know, explode in a shower of glory. And that is what she said. Yes, you're right. You are correct. But Shecky says they're all bangers. Chris Champagne says any side you can't go wrong. Dave Owen says no, side B. Side B is great. Blind Rocket says my tattoo artist introduced me to your music. We listened to it during those long sessions. Shouts out to that tattoo artist. Where is that tattoo artist? I need to visit that tattoo artist and get a tattoo. Shouts out to both of you. Jordan B from SK says all bangers in the Meaningwave genre. Yes. Thing is, Meaningwave exists separately to the regular music industry. We do not play by their rules. We do not fall into their traps. We do our own thing, and that thing is Meaningwave. Righteousness only! Bangers only! Incredible lyrics only! Is there a Meaningwave song with stupid, ungood lyrics? No! Is there a pointless Meaningwave song? No! They're all necessary and deliberate. Every single one of them had a very, very specific, deep, and hugely important purpose behind it. Meaningwave, more than music. Head on over to meaningwave.com, get your vinyl whilst you may. Backers of the Marcus Aurelius campaign. That vinyl is in production. We listened to the test presses a few weeks back and it was great. That's being pressed and should be done pressing pretty soon. Jocko vinyl presses are in production, I think. That's the right way of putting it. Jocko vinyl, what they call monoliths, are shipping now. If you ordered a monolith as part of the Jocko vinyl campaign, monoliths are shipping now. If you order vinyl from meaningwave.com, it will ship within 48 hours and arrive within 2 to 10 days, depending where in the world you are. People in Norway have been getting them in under a week. I know that much. Shouts out to our professional fulfillment center in Texas, where the vinyl is housed. Bungie Animator, what's up? What up, Hood Cannibal Crew? Shecky says Meaningwave exists. It's true. The Web of Life. A Meaningwave album, a Meaningwave experience. Big shouts out to alanwatts.org. Shouts out to Mark Watts and the whole Alan Watts, what would you call it? Legacy keepers? The keepers of the legacy. Of the flame. Protectors of the realm of Watts. Righteousness must be protected. Protected at all costs. Make sure you're following alanwatts.org. That's the official on Instagram and other such places. Here on YouTube, make sure you follow them. Make sure you say hi. Make sure you let them know how much you appreciate what they're doing. Because part of what they're doing is allowing Meaningwave to exist. And that's wonderful. We are very grateful. Very grateful to those who allow Meaningwave to exist. You know? Were it not for they that engage with the existence of Meaningwave, those that allow us to use the words of individuals, what would we be doing? What would we do, huh? Members time. JBP Monolith still looking amazing. I'm jealous of you. I don't have one. And my original monolith is back in storage in Texas. In the country I'm still not allowed in. If I wanted to. Of course, I'm not alone. Novak Djokovic, I don't know how you pronounce his name, I think it's Djokovic. Novak Djokovic, world's #1 tennis player, not allowed in the USA to play tennis. Why? Cause reasons. Why? Cause as a elite sports person in incredible shape, he didn't think it was a good idea to fuck with his chemistry with experimental cocktails. So the Biden administration won't let him in. Like Akira. But he's still tennis #1 and I'm still Wavelord #1. You can't stop the pop. Ing. Ain't no stopping the pop in your knees, knocking your brain, hopping and flopping in pain when you be CD shopping. Shouts out to Chili Gonzalez in 2003 and now. He's still great. We're broadcasting live across space and time from the Airbnb in Don's studio in Playa del Carmen. It's beautiful. I got a CRTV to my left. A la izquierda. You know? I got vinyl a la derecha. Encima de la mesa tengo platas. Soy música. It's a beautiful day to be alive. Aquí. Un día muy hermosa. Aquí. Love you. Thank you all for being here, you blessed, blessed beings. What am I ain't got nothing else. I got nothing else for you, baby. I'm gonna go eat me a steak. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go do that. I'm gonna go sit outside by the pool. I'm gonna eat a steak. I'm gonna listen to the birds cheep. You know what I mean? I'm gonna listen to the birds cheep. I'll listen to the dogs making the noises those dogs make. Probably the cat will meow at me because it wants feeding. I'll consider feeding the cat. I'll consider it. And we'll be back over this way. Those of you excited or wondering about new releases, there's a whole gang of unreleased Meaningwave getting ready to come your way. Brand new members of the Meaningwave universe, never before heard on wax, never before heard on record, coming your way. Beloved Meaningwave OGs coming your way. Meaningwave Masterpieces 4 is almost complete. There'll be a whole lot of glory on that. Dunewave LP. The most intergalactic, cosmic, vast, glorious Homerian Meaningwave record to date. Coming. And a whole bunch of things I ain't telling you about yet because you know I don't like to spoil surprises. Big up! Andrew says, my friend is in Player right now. You're doing shows. If your friend books shows, have him holler. Sheila! Came for the love. Dave Owen, the Dune. Free Consciousness, banana loaf. Yeah, as you might have seen on I posted a thing earlier. People have been asking me about Norm album. Norm album is happening, of course. Norm gave his permission. You can see the DM conversation wherein he did. It's very beautiful. Actually, I can tell you, I was working on some of that last night. Outside, in nature. Muy importante. The Dune. That's right. Chaz's Cara Dune all day. Constanza de Fiore, Lon Buen Provecho, Akira. Bien hecho! Constanza, bien hecho. Gracias por todo. Screw it, bipolar. Oh yeah! Meaningwave legend, enjoy your food. Buen provecho. Hey, gracias. Gracias, hermano! Alright, it's tiempo for me to fuck off. We've got lovely things dropping next week. And we'll be streaming again very soon. Don't forget to stay in touch. If you need anything or want anything, do let me know. I am responsive and I am here to serve you. Amongst other things, but I am here to serve you. All men must serve valor. Ahiris, Vahilis, Gulis, one of them. Either way, God bless, love to you and your family. Thank you for being here, and we'll be back very, very soon. Hasta luego, baby. Oh yeah, go to meaningwave.com, buy things. Yeah! Meaningwave por siempre! Todo chido por siempre. That's right. Woof.